Hey, so it's been a minute since I have done a plan with me or shared how I am planning these days. It's not hugely different than it has been historically, but let's start. So I'm using this A5 Wonderland 222. I have most of the year. Let's see when I started. It was pretty early on in the year. End of January. So January 29th was when I started. I started out in a Hobonichi Cousin, and it had a lot of bleed through issues, so I switched to a sterling ink that had even more bleed through issues. So that's how I settled on this Wonderland 222, and I have been in it all year since then. And I really enjoy it. I have switched up a tiny bit, like the layout of the page, but not so much the layout, more like how I'm using the said layout, mostly in 4 quadrants. But you know, again, it sort of varies a little bit, and I'm trying something new currently, which is basically this, adding a little line. I saw somebody do it and I really liked it, which probably seems kind of random, but here we are. All right, so we are towards the end of the book, so that makes writing on the left-hand side of the page a little bit more difficult, but I try not to let that bother me. So yeah, let's see where we're at. All right, so I recently tried, this is an Energel Clenna pen. I had never used one before, and I am in love. I am not a gel pen person at all, but yeah, I really like it a lot. So I do find myself reaching for it. I'm not using it exclusively here. I will still use my fountain pen, but I feel really like excited. That sounds kind of silly, I suppose, but to have a gel pen that I actually like, because once again, it's not something that I historically really gravitate towards. So yeah, let's see. So I'm just adding 4 boxes over from this planner. Does have a line that goes to the midpoint and then a horizontal line at the midpoint, and they're very, very, very faint, so you could barely even see them. Honestly, it took me a long time to even notice that they were there. And so it's one of those things that I actually really like about this planner, because it does allow for some customization. And like I said, it helps me sort of differentiate the different quadrants, which it's kind of like a loose thing for me, if you will. It's not something that I'm doing really firmly, but all right, so I think that I'm going to try the lines there. I don't know, we'll see. All right, let's find I can't even think of the word right now, but you know, blotter paper. And then we'll just keep adding the lines for this week. I try to do that, I guess, historically, because it helps me a little bit in terms of not being quite as all over the place. I have ADHD, and so I had a struggle with focus is basically where we're at. That's why historically I have always preferred, I'll say, voiceovers, because I can collect my thoughts a little bit better in terms of this, because it's harder for me to stay on track. And it's not as easy to notice, I feel like, in a sped up video with a voiceover. But you know what? That's also not exactly like the easiest way to upload video for me, because then I don't want to go back and record the voiceover, etc., etc. So yeah, so we're just trying this. We're seeing how it goes. Anyway, all right, we've got a couple more lines because this will be the weekend. It is actually Monday that I'm filming this, which I historically would want to do it more on the weekend or the end of the previous week, but it just didn't work out that way this time. And so this is when we're doing it. And it's all right, because I don't have anything super pressing that I absolutely have to get to. And so it is all right. I'm also going to say that I would probably say many more times is that I am not a perfectionist, so things being not perfect don't bother me. So if a line is slightly crooked, it's really not going to be a deal breaker for me. So I just want you to know that, because if it is for you, I am probably not the gal for you. All right, so I'm gonna use this. This is a zebra smoky brush, and it is the blue-gray color. I'm gonna use it to write my headers. And I don't normally do this. I normally use stamps, and I just, I wanna do this today. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna see how I like it. I may hate it, and that's okay. But right now, this is where I'm at. So I'm just using the brush pen to write the headers in block letters. I'm not trying to do brush lettering like, you know, script or anything like that. No reason other than I just don't want to. So, all right, now I have been doing the today, like, so, okay, this would be my schedule, which I could write the schedule, but I don't find that necessary to write schedule. I prefer the heading today. I'm going to then put my to-do maybe down here somewhere. This is like personal to-dos, not like work to-dos. It's usually fairly short because I don't usually have tons of things. And if I did, then I wouldn't be doing a ton of work things, if that makes sense. Okay, so then we're going to go down here and we're gonna write dinner. I like to track my dinners very much. Just for like, I know I can keep up with what's going on, but then also when I'm stumped for what to make, I can go back through what I have already made, and it's a great resource for me. So, all right, now we'll go over to this second section, and the work column is usually something that is a little bit more robust, and not because I'm desperate to include work things. That's in no way, shape, or form true, but I will jot down like things that I would like to get done as well. So it's kind of one of those things that it's not necessarily things that have to get done. It's both like, oh, I want to get to this, and then it can migrate to another list. So basically that's the general setup. I can already tell you I don't like these headers. I don't know if it's the color. I don't know if it's, you know, whatever, but I'll at least finish this on this particular spread, because that's really how I think of things, as these 2 days together. Like I want them to coordinate, and then I don't really care after that. Like the whole week doesn't have to be the same. I mean, I prefer it, but it's totally okay if they don't. So I do like this pen, however, and I do like the color. I just don't love it like this, if that makes sense. I had done one, I'll show you in a second when I'm finished writing all this out. I think part of it is that I do need to be a little bit looser. I think that like being so rigid and like trying to make it like look nice and not my handwriting is causing a little bit of, yeah, I don't really like it. Like it's not playful enough for me, because my style is definitely very much more playful. But definitely looking at it now, it's definitely the color too. All right, so right here, I wrote list, and I totally like that. So I think it's just so much more maybe the color, and maybe that this was a little bit playful because I didn't feel particularly stressed about making it perfect. So I think there's something to do with that. All right, so let's go ahead and decorate this layout because we're here. All right, so I'm gonna use a combination of these flake stickers, and then a bunch of washi tapes, but mostly these two, and then some accented ones possibly. Let's see if I can pull these out. So just some different accents to play off of it. These things being the main focus and so on. So I'm gonna pull these out. I like to, oddly, when I do this, every time I use these, I like to put them into piles because I don't want to use, say, all of the bottles of ink and then have 6 of another one. So I like to kind of use them evenly, which may or may not be strange. I don't know if it is or not, but that's just how my brain sort of goes. I'm sure some of you can kind of relate. So you can see like, oh, there's 4 of those. There's, you know, several of these. I just, you know, want to use them in sort of an even fashion. So these are sticker flakes. You just peel the back off, which sounds easier than it is, at least for me. I definitely think that for others it might be easier. I'm also going to try today the thing that I use with PET tape, which is to use the Scotch tape to peel the back off. Maybe that will make using these easier. I really love these stickers though, and just love Eric Small Things work, so I'm excited to use these. Okay, so for a lot of these, there's 4. There's 3 of the seals, there's 4 of these pens, 3 of the ink, 4 of these guys. I'll probably categorize them in the number that there are because again, I like all of them. There's not any that I don't like. And so I do like to use them in the number that I have them. So the ones that have 4, I will use those first and so on and so forth. So yeah. Okay, and then let's move these over because yeah. Most of these seem to have 3, which is great because that means that it's very, very even, and there's a couple that have 4, which again means that it's very, very even. Like I have used them very evenly, and that's just makes me super happy. So there's 4 of them, or 3 of them that have 4, and the rest of them have 3. So, okay, so now I have the same, these are slightly smaller, and we're gonna probably alternate layouts. I don't know, maybe I won't. You just never know. Like I never really know where I'm gonna go with anything until I kind of do it, and that's okay. I don't mind it. So I get that it may not work for everybody else, but this is really just meant to be like, I want it to be fun when I do it, and I want it to be fun when I look at it. So it doesn't have to make sense to anybody but me. All right, so these, like I said, are smaller, but they're equally as cute. So there's just a variety of different clipboards, different, like this looks like a little stained glass with stationery in the stained glass. Whether or not that's actually like what it's intended to be, I have no idea. But that's what it looks like to me at first glance. And then we've got a variety of desk scenes, writing implements, things like that. A little roll that has pens in it. Yeah, these are definitely tiny, but super cute. Have a dog barking in the background. She is here to protect me from any intruder, except for she's a golden retriever, and she would, in fact, not protect me from any intruder. I mean, I think she maybe would too. I don't know. Whole different topic for a whole nother day. All right, so let's go ahead and move these over too. So there's like 4 of this little guy with the lamp. There's probably more of all of these, honestly, because I don't think I've used these quite as much as the bigger ones. These are a newer acquisition for me, so there's probably still 4 of most of these, if I'm being honest. There's also, I think, just more of these stickers too, since they are tinier. So they're so cute though, honestly. Just such a really, really adorable collection of items. Okay, so there's 6 of these little fountain pens, so definitely gonna have to make my way to using those. There's only 2, oh, these are the same. So there's 4 of these little guys. Yeah, so there's 4 of everything except for those fountain pens. I was remiss, but anyway, no big deal, right? All right, so now we're going to put somebody here. And I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with, one of these. And so let's try the Scotch tape thing that I do with PET tape. Pull off a piece of Scotch tape, no big deal. Put it on this back. These are washi too, which is why I wouldn't put it on the front. Sometimes with PET tape, I don't really care and I'll just put it on the front because it's not a big deal. But with the washi tape, like I'm afraid it'll stick to it. And yeah, so that totally worked and was maybe a little easier. I'm not sure if it was totally easier, but All right, so we're gonna put this guy right here. And then down here, I'll probably put something smallish. So perhaps like, let's just put this pen. I wasn't going to do this, but I am going to do this. So, all right, so put the Scotch tape on the clear back part. The theory here is that it like holds down the clear part, the backing, and then I'm able to pull up the other part a little bit more easily. Is it always true? Probably not. All right, so we're gonna put it down here. So cute, and these do have a little bit of gold foil too, so it's adorable. All right, so now again, this is not, I think, what you would consider aesthetic. In fact, I know it's not aesthetic, but what it is though, is it is very, very, for me, helps me get things done in a way that my brain functions, plus I get to look at cute stickers. So do I have to add the cute stickers? No, because of course this is totally fine. But I like the way that it sort of, the cute stickers, like I come back and I'm like, oh yeah, I really do love this stuff. So again, it's not aesthetic. It's, you know, not something that somebody's going to be like, oh my God, that's the best planner layout ever. But it is the best planner layout ever for me because it helps me do the things. It also helps me just like be creative and feel creative. So like the result isn't really the point. Like, I mean, the layout result is the point, but like the design or the writing or those things, I know what works. I could just use my stamps and like, then they would look fine, right? But I'm feeling like I want to do this and that's kind of my deal. So that's what I want to do. All right, now we're going to add this little guy right here. And again, it's really about keeping space in that column for work lists / ideas. So it's not always things that have to be done today. That's, you know, the primary function of that space. But sometimes I might add 12 things, knowing I'm never going to get to 12 things. But like if time was infinite and I could, that's what I would do today. So, and anything I don't will just migrate till tomorrow. And I genuinely don't care as long as I got everything done that I need to get done or should get done. So yeah, so that is like one little layout. And then we'll flip to the next page. And I think I'm going to pull out a different pen than this one. Not because I don't like it, because I do like it, but I want to try something different. So we're going to pull out this red one. We're going to see what happens, right? Okay, so we're going to put today. Might feel more playful, which is the goal, right? I want this to feel more playful and more like me than what that last page feels like. Y's are always a struggle for me too, man. Like I just never feel like I quite get that. I am focused on what works for me and doing what works for me. I think though that there is a lot of beauty in seeing what other people do and saying like, oh, let me try that and see if that's something that could work for me too. So I'm saying that for myself, but I'm also saying that maybe for you. I'm just always eternally evolving. I don't just find one layout that works and then stick to it and not try something else. It's not how I am in any part of my life. And so I always just am always like, let me try that. And knowing full well that it might be a terrible idea and absolutely not work for me. But the beauty is that I know exactly what I can do. I know what does work for me. So it's fine. Like it's totally fine with me to try something different. So hopefully that makes sense. I just really delight in the process, and I also delight in like just not doing the same thing over and over again. But that is not meant to say that somebody else shouldn't do that. I'm not even just like trying to cover, you know, my bases by saying like, oh, you do what works for you. I'm just saying that like, yeah, no, absolutely. This probably doesn't work for somebody else. Absolutely not. Like, you know. All right, so now I'm gonna just do this work one real quick over here. For some reason, I feel compelled to, and that, my friends, is exactly how I do things, is I just do what I feel compelled to do when I feel compelled to do it, for the most part. Obviously, sometimes I don't because, oh, it doesn't make any sense to just do this, but as long as it's not gonna hurt me, like hurt my process or, you know, make it significantly longer or whatever, I really don't care. It really doesn't matter. This is much about enjoying the process as it is about being functional and efficient and all those things. So now I really like this planner. This is the 2025 Wonderland 222 planner, and they had some older Tomoe River paper, like the original manufacturer. So when they made these are the OG paper. So that's what swayed me to this, because obviously there was such a debacle this year with Tomoe River paper. I'm thrilled because honestly, I can't have bleed through, even heavy shadowing. It just really kind of drives me crazy. So it's not because it's super important. It's just because I know that I won't be able to not focus on that. And so it's important to me. However, that's how I settled on a Wonderland 222. I really like the planner. I don't love that these are undated, however. So that's definitely a sticking point for me, is that they're undated. And that may not be a thing for everybody else. And I totally get that. All right, so what we're gonna do on this one, I feel like doing something slightly different. I pulled out this ink to ink up my fountain pen and realized I left the lid off, and A, I don't wanna leave the lid off, and then B, like that's a very bad decision on my part to leave the lid off. So, all right, we're gonna use this Eric Small Things washi tape, and it totally is not 100% coordinating with the stickers. I mean, like obviously they're Eric Small Things stickers and this is Eric Small Things washi, but they're not like, oh, these were meant to go together. So these are actually some I bought online after the Houston Stationery Show in August, I guess it was. I bought this directly from Cute Things from Japan, and I love it. I love it. I love it. And I wanted to use it. So here we are. All right, so I'm just gonna put this down here. But again, I really honestly am just not stressing that much about placement for decorative items. It's just really not that important to me. And I'm not saying it shouldn't be important to you. I'm saying that I do like 12 different projects and I do something creative every single day. So like it's just about the creativity for me. Having one project that's perfect is literally no concern to me, because I have so many others like that I just get joy out of working on. None of them are meant to be perfect. They're just meant to be joyful. And no, I don't work on all of them every day. I don't even work on all of them every week, but they're just things that I have interest in. And so I have them because I can. And also part of this is my job. And so having so many projects allows me to do lots of different things for my work. Okay, so now we have down. So fun. I totally love this. All right, so now I've used all of my stickers the same amount. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this guy. Yeah. All right. So we're going to use this one, and I'm going to get my little piece of Scotch tape. Basically, really what I'm trying to tell you by explaining sort of my thought process and what I do and why I do it is that I would love for you to do the same for you. Like, oh, I love doing this, so do that, you know? And oh, this really like makes sense to me. Great, do that. That's what I want for you. So this isn't about me trying to tell you to do what I'm doing. Absolutely not. I mean, like if you like it and you want to do that, then that's great. But if you don't, which is neither here nor there, I want you to do what feels right to you. It doesn't have to make sense to anybody else. It only has to make sense to you. And that's really what I'm here to tell you, is that these things that you do only have to make sense to you. And this is what I do. And I have messier projects and less aesthetic projects because I'm trying to find the joy in all the things that I do that I can, because we can't be joyful all the time. Life is hard, right? But if I can be joyful here, so be it. All right, I don't actually hate this. The red is very bold, but I don't hate it. But I'm not gonna stay with the red. We're gonna switch now again. Again, please remember, this is kind of an experiment. That's how I'm sort of thinking of this. Like, can I get to a place where I can do this for my headers? I don't know. I don't know if I can or not, but I'm gonna try it out. All right, so now we're gonna just do the same thing here. We're gonna add, I absolutely, for some reason, really love this color marker. I couldn't even tell you why, because it's definitely not like a me color, but for some reason, I always really love this one. So I'm actually pretty excited about it, if we're being honest. I don't know if to do has a dash or not, but I started writing something there, so I just went with it, right? Again, I recognize that I don't know, and I'm not pretending that I do. So I think that in a lot of these things, I see a lot of people taking all of these things very, very seriously. And I get it. Everybody has to do what works for them. But I'm just not taking any of it that seriously. It's 2 days. And then I'm going to turn the page on this and rarely look back at it again. So if I make a mistake, it just doesn't feel like that big of a deal to me, if I'm being perfectly honest. And it's not to say that it's not a big deal. If it's a big deal to you, it absolutely is a big deal. But that's the point. It's not to me, so I'm not going to make it a big deal. Hopefully that makes sense to you. I don't know if it does or not, but we all place different importance on different things. And maybe you place importance so much more on the functional aspects of it. And so you're not concerned with experimentation. You're just like, say, for example, maybe you're watching this because you want to see what a functional layout for me looks like right now, because this is, let me say, a very functional layout for me. This is how my brain thinks. So this is how I get things done. And that's why I do it this way and why I break things up this way. I love this color. I'm definitely going to keep using this. Well, okay, I shouldn't say that, because maybe when I'm done with my stickers and washi, maybe I will not love it quite as much. And again, I don't know why I love it, but I do. I also am loving that I'm getting more comfortable writing with these. So this was a very good choice because it's starting to feel more normal to me. I'm not saying it's perfect, but starting to feel more normal. I also realized I don't really like these lines, so that's why I didn't do it over here. And that's exactly how it should be as far as I'm concerned. All right, so the 6th and the 7th of this month are still weekdays. So I'm going to use some of these smaller ones after I put some washi tape down. Now let's see what we got here. Let's try the blue washi again. I may hate this where I just place this washi, like looking at it, because it's definitely super different, but it like totally doesn't matter, right? Like tomorrow I just won't do it again if I hate it. So I want to check one thing real quick too. I often will outline the letters that I write if I'm writing with like a marker or a paint pen or something like that. And because I really like the way that it looks. And so I want to see if I really like the way that it looks here in this setting. So I'm going to do this one like this. So then when I add the stickers and then I come back and add my text, see how I feel about this. This would be so easy enough for me to do like later, right? Like when I'm kind of brain dumping, thinking I can go back and do this and add this later. Or, you know, I can add it whenever, right? Okay, so now we have our washi tape, and I think I'm actually probably going to add a little bit more washi tape if I'm being honest, because I think this could use some right here. So I think that what I'm going to put is maybe, let's see. Well, let's give the black a go. I don't know that I'm going to like it, but we're going to try it anyway. as a reminder, I really don't know what I'm doing. Like, I'm not setting out like with this grand plan. I'm just going where the mood strikes. I often find, yeah, I don't think I hate this, honestly. I am actually thinking that I kind of like these letters like this. And the reason I think that is because I did it here and I do really like this. Like, this is what sort of inspired me to try this here. So I haven't really ever actually done that before. That was just a casual, like, sit down in a chair with my planner and pen to write a list of things that I wanted to get done. And yeah, I don't hate it. So yeah, that's perfectly cute. Let's do the whole page like that, just so we can have a sort of, well, I cannot even think of what the word is, like a one page like that, and see if it feels better than all the rest of them. The kind of like a sample, you know, like, oh yes, this page turned out so good. And by so good, I just mean like for a planner page, right? Because I'm going to mark on it, I'm going to write on it, I'm going to, you know, draw arrows to migrate tasks that don't get done, etc., etc. So it's not some perfect piece of art, it's just a planner page. It's also another reason why I really just don't stress that much about my planner pages being aesthetic or great or making sense to anybody else, because they really are just meant for me to stay on track and get things done. Yeah, I gotta say, I totally love it. That turned out great for me. All right, so now let's go ahead and we're gonna add some of our stickers. I don't think I've used any of the tiny ones yet. Nope, so let's use some tiny ones. Let's put some, all right, I'm gonna put this little guy down here. It's probably hard to see, but it's the little roll, the pen roll. And he's yellow, and so theoretically I wouldn't have normally done that, but yeah, I'm going to, so. Yeah, I wouldn't normally have done it because like the yellow with the yellow, it's a lot, and I'm not trying to do that necessarily, but it just feels right, so I'm gonna do it. I don't know that that particular piece of tape is working that well anymore for me, which is fine. Might be time for a new piece of tape. Might be that these stickers are tiny and it's not working. I don't know. All right, so now we need, let's see. Let's use this little red typewriter here. I'm really honestly, again, not thinking very much about it at all, because it really doesn't matter what stickers I choose. Like, they coordinate together, they came out of the same pack. Like, I'm just not gonna stress about it more than that. That seems perfectly fine to me. Yeah, the only bummer about these is sometimes the corners will get turned under where like I peel them off the page, and you know, it's kind of hard to pull them back up, but I also, that's not going to stop me from using them. So yeah, so it's very simple, but it's gonna get stuff done. So this is actually my youngest son's 18th birthday. If you guys have been here for any length of time, you have watched him grow up, quite frankly, because I've been doing this a long time. All right, now we're gonna put this little guy here. I'm gonna see how hard this is without doing the Scotch tape, by the way. Like, is the Scotch tape really helping? No, probably not. Okay, we're gonna do this here. Have a nice day. And then we're gonna put the little pen, because it's so cute. And I have more than the rest of them, if you'll remember from the very beginning of this video. We're gonna put him down at the bottom. Fantastic. yeah, so that I learned a lot about this page, right? By doing something differently, both the yellow and outlining the words, I totally learned something that I actually don't hate this. And what I like about this is that it's easier to do, like, oh, I'm just sitting on the couch tonight and I want to plan next week. I absolutely can, because I don't have to have the stamps, because when I'm stamping, you know, you need a desk, firm, even pressure, you know, that type of thing. And so, yeah, this is a great lesson because I do like it. So I'm not saying I'm going to do it every time, because I can't say that about anything. But all right, so these are the last 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, I believe. So let's do it again. We're going to use the yellow. And I'm going to write today. Going to write to do, which is interesting because I don't typically have too many to-do lists or work items on the weekends. However, that's, you know, not a 100% thing. All right, now we're going to do dinner. And then we will put, we're going to put work right here. Yeah, again, I can't stress enough how, like, the more I do this, the more comfortable I get doing it. So sometimes, like, I personally I'll do it once and I'll be like, oh my gosh, I don't like this. This stinks. And I don't always give it as much of a chance. And I have to remember that sometimes A, you're a beginner, meaning I'm a beginner. B, it's just like requires a little more practice. And this is a prime example of I'm feeling much more comfortable writing. And so I'm liking the results more. And that's exactly great because this is what I wanted it to end up like. So again, I'm not saying it's perfect because like this side of the page has now turned out to be like, it's kind of wonky, but it also doesn't matter. It's also a Sunday and like I don't hardly look at my planner at all on Sundays. So it's totally fine. Alrighty, let's washi tape this bad boy up. Let's just do all the washi tape things because honestly, I really like these washies and it's Saturday and Sunday. I will have activities to put on here, but there won't be tons of lists, so I can use a little bit more washi tape and decorative items. Yeah, that doesn't tear perfectly. I really am just not that concerned about it. It's really just not that big of a deal to me, so I will leave it, however, so that I can sort of tear it more cleanly here. I am also not precious about washi tape. There is so much on a roll and it takes so long to use one. It's fine if I don't get it. Like if I waste half an inch or an inch, it's just really not that big of a deal. And I will say, guys, use your washi tape because, man, it does not last forever. And I don't want you to have that beloved washi tape you hoarded and now it's not exactly great. So look how fun that is. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And meaning, oh, I don't think it's perfect, but I get to see my favorite cute little washi tape and it looks great. So awesome. All right, so now let's put some stickers here too. We're going to use the cute little guys again, just because then we have some balance, right? Because the first page is the bigger ones. The second one is the bigger ones. So then if this is the smaller ones, let's do the smaller ones again. All right, so we use the typewriter. We use this. We'll use a pen somewhere. We will use a little stamp somewhere. We will use a, let's see, one of these somewhere, and we'll use one of these. pencils somewhere. So then, yeah, that's awesome, right? That's getting it all on there. And then I can actually move those out of my way because they are basically, I'm finished with those. So, all right, let's add a little pencil. This chubby little pencil. It's so cute. Again, these aren't really as hard as I'm making it look to get off the backing. It really has everything to do with A, me, B, my fingernails. And so, yeah, it's just harder. So if you have not tried sticker flakes or these specific sticker flakes, don't be afraid because they're not scary or anything like that. And I will be honest, I try not to hoard supplies because I've been doing some sort of paper crafting for, 25 years or whatever. And I recognize that companies keep making more stuff. I mean, it's possible they won't make this cute thing again, but there'll be something new that they make that's really cute. So I try not to, because I would just have so many things if I didn't use them, but I get it. It's hard not to not use them. And the reason I was telling you this was because these particular stickers, I've had them for a while and I just don't use them that often because I really like them. And so I don't want to overuse them, but by the same token, I should just be using them. And I think I said this at the beginning, but these are washi stickers. So like when you peel it back off, then it's washi tape, essentially like die cut washi tape. So awesome. Okay, so now the other thing that I haven't done yet that I forgot that I like to do, which is that, so I have these date stickers on here, which are fine. I don't really care that much about them either way, but today is the 3rd and it is a Monday. So this is Sunday. I add the little day of the week because I get so confused and then I write things on the wrong day. And these have a thing where you can circle them, but it's so absolutely tiny. There's no way I could do that and it actually make any sense at all. So yeah, so let's do that. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna write in the plans and things. I use this Hobonichi Weeks as my future planning. It's great. I assume you're all familiar with the Hobonichi Weeks layout. I try to find one that I don't have anything written on. That's going to be impossible. That's next week. So I just write it in pencil and then transfer it when I plan here. This is the best way I know to keep track of all of my things and not mess it up. I don't want to plan like this far in advance. I have no idea if I'll actually be in this planner this long. Full disclosure. So this works great for me and I really like this. It is just a wonderful way for me to do this and I've been doing it for a very, very, very long time and it works really well. So, all right, I don't have any plans on Sunday. I don't have any plans on Monday. And by plans, I mean appointments, things like that. Like I have things that I need to do and stuff, but okay, so now here we've gotten to Wednesday and my son has a baseball game. So let's pull out, I don't always do this either, but I'm going to. We're going to use a clean color dot marker and I'm going to write down what he has going on. Okay, so now I like to leave this much room typically because if say a couple more appointments pop up and they sometimes do, right? Like sometimes, things just get added or whatever, then I still have room to add them to my planner later. So that is kind of why I do that, because I obviously do pre-planning. I know what I have coming up. I could tailor the space, but I don't need to. I do know that like this is enough room for my to-dos mostly, and I also wouldn't have a problem putting some up here if I had more room for that. Okay, so now on the 6th, I need to make sure that my haircut is at this time. Oops, see, I just slammed my pen down and got some fountain pen ink there, which is so just like me. But again, look, it's really not that big of a deal. I'm not going to stress about it, but I want to confirm that is when my appointment is. Yes, it's at 10 o'clock. And then also we're gonna do, let's see, we're gonna write, this is my son's birthday. I already said this to you guys, but I have been sharing online, Instagram, YouTube, etc. for probably 13 or 14 years. And so he would have been just a little guy. And that's just wild to me that there are definitely some of you out there that have watched him grow up. And so it feels very sweet. I mean, you know, that's kind of a lot, but you know what I mean. It's just another thing. I'm just sad and happy and proud and all those things about my child turning 18, right? And my youngest child, no less. So, okay, so now we have Thursday and we'll move on to Friday. I also don't have anything on Friday, which is, it's a light week, which is wonderful because I have had a bananas September and October. And so I am really looking forward to a little bit of downtime, if I can be perfectly honest. All right, so now he has 2 baseball games on Saturday. So we're going to go ahead and write that down. I don't know the opponent because this is a tournament game, so I don't know the time or the opponent, so I'll just leave space for that. And then I will also, let's see, my husband is going to the Chargers football game today, and that doesn't impact me. So it doesn't like go over here because it's not something I have to do, but it is something I like to keep track of because then I know, oh, okay, he's not going to be here. You know, it just alters the state of my day. So I do like to keep track of it. So just putting it up here helps me do that. So, okay, so now we're finished. That's basically it. I will now go back. There's 2 things I'll do, but I'm not going to make you do, I'm not going to make you watch that. Well, actually, you know, obviously I'm not making you watch any of it, but I'm going to go back and add the black lines around this because I do like how this looks. And then I'm also going to just start with my to-do lists. I mean, basically for today, and then mostly I do it every single day, but sometimes I migrate like, oh, I know, oh, on Thursday I have to do this, so I'll put it down on Thursday. So yeah, so that is it. This is how I am planning right now in my daily pages, which are essential for me personally. Someday, probably in the nearer future, I'll be able to scale down in size. Like I won't need an A5 for this, but for right now, an A5 still works fine and I'm not bothered by the extra space. So thanks for so much for stopping by and watching. I really do appreciate it. If you have questions, comments, nice comments, of course, and concerns, please leave them below and I will do my best to get back to you. Thanks so much and make it a great day.